Until Rees-Mogg left the front bench, we heard regularly about how civil servants weren't doing the correct jobs and that they should be sacked, made redundant. And I've been saying for a long time that actually those who are not doing the correct work or are unneeded in the ministries that they currently inhabit should move over to the Home Office and sort out the mountain of bureaucracy that has built up, makes it so difficult for basic applications for visas and for passports to go ahead, and makes it equally very difficult to process asylum applications. The mountain of asylum applications is embarrassing. And this is why there's a story today that it costs apparently £7 million in hotel fees to keep asylum seekers until their paperwork is processed. That bill would come down significantly if we moved civil servants around a bit, retrained them, and put them into the Home Office so the Home Office could clear its backlog. I know there's a sort of joke about Suella Braverman's backlog, the congestion, the constipation of that ministry. But there comes a point where one has to take decisive action. That decisive action is not about Rwanda. That decisive action is about cleaning up her own back garden and getting through the paperwork which needs to be processed. At some point it needs to be processed. It can only mount up. So we need more people to process it. It's a very simple decision. I don't understand why no one else is talking about this. Instead, people are talking about which asylum seekers are coming across the channel, or which asylum seekers are coming into Britain illegally. They're not all coming across the channel. There's some significantly easier routes that even I know about. And they're certainly not all Albanians. But those Albanians that equally I know about are coming through Dublin. So if there's a rise in people coming across the channel, what is the real rise? And why do we not know? We don't know because the Home Office is tied up in paperwork and isn't doing its job. That's the problem. Everything else is secondary. And as soon as we find out the percentage of bogus claims that exist, then we can actually tackle the issue at source. The issue at source is to reform the 1951 Refugee Agreement, that convention that we signed up to, that guarantees that anyone who applies for asylum will be considered and not sent to Rwanda and not ridiculed because of their national background. They have to be considered properly, effectively, and with fairness and morality. That's our obligation. That's what we agreed to do in 1951. And so far, that agreement has not changed. It's been slightly enhanced in 1967, and it was further enhanced by our European membership. We're no longer a member of the European Union. That's actually made it slightly more complicated to deal with this problem. But at heart, it's about processing paperwork before we can do anything. This is reality, not rhetoric, and the Home Office needs to wake up to that reality. Moreover, the amount of paperwork which the Home Office now deals with is significantly inflated because Mrs. May thought that was the way forward. She was wrong. She was wrong. That was simply the way to block up the system, rather like pouring lavatory paper endlessly down the loo. Eventually your S-bend clogs up.